Live a better digital life with WebRoot, all-in-one digital protection for up to 10 devices. Variety of plans designed to protect you and your loved ones from digital threats. You can get powerful antivirus and identity protection without the slowdowns or pop-ups. WebRoot keeps you protected online while staying out of your way. And if your computer feels sluggish, heats up when you open a few tabs, or sounds like it's preparing for liftoff every time that it runs, your device probably isn't the problem. Your antivirus is. Many big-name brands have become bulky, complicated, and full of pop-ups and upsells. Well, WebRoot Essentials scans 6 times faster and takes up 33 times less space than the average competitor. It ranks number 1 in performance compared to Norton and McAfee. WebRoot's total protection ranked first overall when compared to top competitors. Scans 7 times faster than average competitor and takes up 3 times less space than average competitor on hard drive. AI has completely changed the cybersecurity game. Scams are smarter, malware is faster, and phishing emails look shockingly real. But the good news is you don't need to be a tech expert to stay ahead of it when you use security that can keep up with AI threats. Unlike free antivirus tools or older security programs, WebRoot is built to counter modern AI-driven attacks. It is fast, lightweight, and designed to spot threats before they even reach you. So WebRoot is offering my listeners an exclusive 60% off offer. So visit www.webroot.com/Kate Casey to learn more.
The amazing Kate Casey.
Welcome back for another episode of Reality Life with Kate Casey. And this is your What to Watch episode for April 27th through May 4th. And I got to tell you, what a mess this last week has been in reality TV. If you are somebody who follows the summer house drama, I mean, you and I both have had our eyes rolling back into our head and head spinning around. If you are unfamiliar with this story, I beg of you to go back and listen to episodes that I did last week. And also check out my bonus podcast episode because I go into this leaked audio and what that would mean internally. I mean, what an absolute mess. So if you're a reality TV lover, buckle up. This is a good time to kind of look at things from an outside perspective as we do with all of these shows, but particularly Summer House. I think it's such a window into the chaos of a popular show, the moving parts of fame for some of these cast members, and trying to maintain control of a show when it has to do with love and betrayal in a time where social media, I think, heightens people's reactions to things that happen on reality TV. So, yes, if you were interested in the business of reality TV, go and check out my bonus podcast episode. I think that you'll really enjoy it. There are a lot of great things coming up this week. I want to make sure that you go back to last week's episode, check out all of the episodes. It was very heavy on reality TV, and I had some fantastic guests, and I had a terrific guest who talked about a true crime case involving her own husband who kidnapped a couple from their Bible study. And thankfully, authorities intervened and nothing else happened, including murder. But it is a wild story. And also, I think a good reflective moment for all of us to think about red flags that we have had in relationships throughout our life and watching out for the people in our life who are in relationships where something just doesn't feel a little bit right. So go back and listen to my interview with Danielle. She was featured in an episode of Betrayal, Secrets and Lies on Hulu, which is a great series. I've had the host on the show as well talking about a specific episode. And of course, you know, Clayton Eckhardt's episode of Betrayal, Secrets and Lies, also was sort of the launch pad for his podcast series, which is called Love Trapped. So make sure you go back and listen to my episode with Clayton as well. So a lot of great stuff's going on. Again, listen to all of the episodes last week. This coming week, I've got a 2-part interview about the Martha Moxley murder. And I'm telling you, if you are familiar with this case, buckle up because it's a lot of new information. If you are unfamiliar with the case, you are going to get sucked into it. I trust that you will take the time to listen and then share it with the people in your life because this is definitely one of those true crime meets power and privilege in a Tony East Coast town. It's the 1970s. It's something that you're really going to want to deep dive into. And then I've got a great episode coming up with Kevin Fallon from Daily Beast. We're going to be talking about Bravo stuff. So make sure that you're checking for new episodes all the time. And of course, if you're subscribed to the show, which I hope that you already are, you will get new episodes in your queue all the time. So check back. And yeah, okay. So this week, there are a couple true crime docs that I really want you to watch. The first is called My Killer Father, The Green Hollow Murders. This one is on Paramount Plus. So it's a true crime doc series which focuses on accusations against Donald Dean Studdy. Now, he died in 2013. His daughter, Lucy, claims that her father was a serial killer and he had killed dozens of people over decades, and that he buried them in rural Iowa, particularly near this abandoned well in Green Hollow. So Don, he died in March of 2013 at age 75, was a gas station attendant, a mechanic, and a tow truck driver in this rural part of Iowa, north of Thurman. So Lucy, who now lives in Council Bluffs, Iowa, alleges that her father killed over 50 people. So allegedly, most of those women were in their late 20s to early 30s, along with some younger individuals whom Lucy believes were transients or people who just wouldn't be missed. And isn't that true of so many cases, like the Gilgo murders? Same sort of idea. The alleged murders occurred in the Green Hollow area of southwest Iowa, with victims buried in wells on the property, and the allegations prompted searches by local, state, and federal law enforcement, along with a private forensic dig that was supported by the production team. So one of his former wives, whose death was previously ruled a suicide, was exhumed for a second autopsy, and the result was listed as undetermined. This is going to air on April 28th. For those of you who really like deep dives on the psychology behind serial killers, I think this is going to be up your alley. I'm interested in this because I always think that the collateral damage is also fascinating. In this case, it's the point of view of the daughter, Lucy. So it's called My Killer Father, The Green Hollow Murders on Paramount Plus, and that airs April 28th. The other one I really want you to look out for is called Should I Marry a Murderer? This one is on Netflix on Wednesday, April 29th. So this fiancé turns a key witness, and it reveals how she stayed engaged to a man accused of murder while gathering evidence against him in this documentary series. So you have Caroline, and she meets Alexander, called Sandy McKellar, on a Tinder date, and she quickly falls in love, and it leads to an engagement. Well, 3 years after a violent crime was committed and concealed, Sandy confesses to Caroline that he had killed a cyclist, Tony Parsons, in a 2017 hit and run in the Scottish Highlands. Now, after the accident, Sandy and his brother Robert allegedly failed to seek medical attention. They buried the victim and lived really as nothing had ever happened. So faced with the moral crisis of remaining in love or revealing the truth, Caroline stays engaged while she gathers evidence. So she was taken to the burial site and, according to reports, managed to market to help authorities find the victim. What an extraordinary story. I am desperately trying to get in touch with her and the people at Netflix to allow me to do an interview with somebody associated with this. Can you imagine you are with somebody and you know that they are most likely involved in a cold case? At that point, you're reflecting on a decision that you made to be with somebody who is a hellacious person. So you're running through your own judgment while also fearing for your own safety. So it's called Should I Marry a Murderer? It's on Netflix, Wednesday, April 29th. If you want something that's a little bit more calming and positive, because Lord knows we are living in crazy times, Shared Planet might be a great thing for you to watch with your kids if you have some. PBS, April 29th. This one takes viewers around the globe to uncover inspiring stories of people and wildlife that are thriving together. So from remote villages to bustling cities, it reveals how humans and animals can coexist in harmony and the extraordinary ways that this balance benefits both. So you've got stunning cinematography, untold tales of resilience and innovation. Each of the episodes celebrates the power of nature and the hope that it brings for a sustainable future. So again, perfect for kids, but also perfect for you if you just want something in the background that is light and hopeful and has beautiful landscapes. It's called Shared Planet, Wednesday, April 29th on PBS. When I started my podcast, I worried so much about its success. Is this really the right decision for me? And what if I fail? But that leap was one of the best decisions I ever made. And then I think about all of you that have done the same, starting your own businesses. Shopify has helped so many of you ease some of your worries with their expertise, helpful tools, and easy-to-use platform. And trust me, I wish I had the same when I created my podcast. Shopify is the commerce platform behind millions of businesses around the world and 10% of all e-commerce in the US, from household names like Aviator Nation and Skims to brands just getting started. Get started with your own design studio with hundreds of ready-to-use templates. Shopify helps you build a beautiful online store that matches your brand style. Accelerate your efficiency whether you're uploading new products or trying to improve existing ones. Shopify is packed with helpful AI tools that write product descriptions, page headlines, and even enhance your product photography. And did I mention that iconic purple Shop Pay button that's used by millions of businesses around the world? It's why Shopify has the best converting checkout on the planet. It also helps boost conversions, meaning less carts going abandoned and more sales for you. It's time to turn those what ifs into cha-ching with Shopify today. Sign up for your $1 per month trial today at shopify.com/Kate Casey. Go to shopify.com/Kate Casey. That's shopify.com/Kate Casey. There's this thing that happens to a lot of women in their 30s and 40s where you start to feel off, not sick, not diagnosable, just not yourself. You're managing everything for everybody, kids, career, relationships, your own health, and somewhere in all of that, you quietly start falling apart. And the worst part, when you finally bring it to your doctor, they tell you, just exercise some more. That's why I'm going to tell you about Batch. It's a company founded by chemical engineers, people who actually understand formulations, not just marketing. They built the brand on one principle: full lab transparency, clean ingredients, and nothing that you can't verify. So this isn't a wellness vibe company. It's a company that shows you exactly what's in the product and why. Batch's nighttime gummies are formulated specifically for restorative sleep. I know that so many of you need this. The kind that actually lets you wake up feeling like a human again. Clean ingredients, no pharmaceutical dependency, and designed for the woman whose sleep has quietly become a casualty of everything else that she's managing. So here's what I love. They're not promising to fix your life. They're offering something that can help you feel more like yourself, and they'll show you exactly what's in it. So right now, Batch is offering 30% off site-wide, and yes, that applies to subscriptions too. So you can lock in that discount on your monthly supply. Go to hellobatch.com/reality and use code REALITY at checkout. So that brings us to the reality shows. Okay, so Bravo in particular has a lot going on this week. And I do recommend also going through Peacock and checking out all of the after shows that they make available for some of the Bravo shows, because it fills in a little bit of the gaps. And sometimes I feel like they're more animated in those moments than they actually are on the reunions. And I saw that this season on Real Housewives of Beverly Hills after show. Far more, I think, animated and punching in some of their commentary than when I watched the first episode of the Real Housewives reunion for Beverly Hills. And I think many of you may agree with me too. Maybe it's because they're put into small groups and they don't have a host that's sort of navigating the questions, and they don't have the opportunity to be confronted across the couch from the person that's driving them insane. So it provides an opportunity for them to be a little bit off the cuff. So I want you to check that out on Peacock. And I also want you to make sure that you're also checking some of these streamers. Like there are sections where it's basically like new and noteworthy, but also the algorithm is going to recommend things. So if you love Love is Blind, for example, you're going to be sent things that are sort of similar in that vein. But also, you've got to be checking out the new section, because there are things that are going to pop up that are going to be interesting to you. And sometimes I find I get really surprised and elated by things that are based on true stories. Like I've often said, No One Saw Us Leave, which is based on a true story, is on Netflix. And it was maybe like 5 episodes. And it popped up and I clicked on it, and it really was a fantastic series. So Bravo this week. Okay, so Monday, you've got Below Deck. But Tuesday, you've got Summer House. Now, they have released a clip from next week's episode. And first, let me say, my heart goes out to the people who are involved with Summer House editing this season, the publicity team behind it, but also the people who work the reunions, because they do a tremendous amount of work. And when people leak audio, it can be quite frustrating because we all collectively want to have that joint experience of viewing, even though, some of us are going to watch right away. Some of us watch a day later. We're all kind of watching in the same sort of time period. And so if you are working so hard behind the scenes to give people this really enjoyable moment of viewing, and someone has to be an asshole and leak it, it disrupts the flow of the show, and it makes them obviously worried behind the scenes. Will people still be interested in it? And a lot of their work in terms of their work portfolios is about the success, how many people viewed it. And when you disrupt that system, I think you're affecting someone's work portfolio. So don't be a jerk. Let us all kind of enjoy things as they unfold. It's fun to get scoop, but to leak an actual audio of the show, it's probably the most poignant moment too. It's kind of a bummer. I almost feel that way about reunions sometimes where they put out clips. I'm like, well, now I've seen the best part of it. So why you're going to want to watch this week, they did put out a clip and it shows Amanda on a FaceTime with Kyle. Now, Kyle and the rest of the cast are on a boat and she's mad because West had said something like, that day had been the best day of his life. And she's like, wow, okay, and I'm not there. And poor Kyle, I got to hand it to the guy. It's probably pretty hard, despite what a terrible marriage they had. You'd feel duped to see that in retrospect, she's letting you know how invested she is in somebody who's on the show with you. I just find it's so perplexing. And truly, the people that live within the show are having such a unique experience, and there are a few people that can understand it. But as an outsider, it's a head spinner. So you can watch that on Tuesday. And again, as I said, we're watching this whole story unfold about West and Amanda, what the timeline was. Then you can watch The Valley the next day. And The Valley, of course, I think is really focusing on postpartum for Nia and for Kristen. And these dodo bird husbands who have zero clue about what their bodies have been through and their hormones, and they just want to have sex, and you just want to throw punch all of them. And then, of course, the outsiders from those two couples, the ancillary people, and what's going on in their lives. But I think that in particular has been the real focus thus far this season. Then on the 30th, you've got the second part of the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills reunion. I can't say it totally blew my hair back the first episode. I love the interaction between Dorit and Erica. I hope that we get more of that. A lot of the conversations I wish had happened throughout the season. For example, Amanda Francis and Bose talking about online courses. I wanted more of that during the season. So it's the second episode on the 30th. And then Ladies of London has their season finale. And the American with the manners business, Mika, she's hosting her first UK etiquette event, and Mark Francis and Margot attempt to make peace, and then the group attends Joshua Kane's summer showcase. Martha confronts Margot, so several different moving parts. Kevin Fallon from The Daily Beast is going to join me this week. We're going to talk about that show, amongst others. So make sure you watch that. And then on May 3rd, you can watch an all-new episode of Real Housewives of Rhode Island and, of course, Real Housewives of Atlanta. So that is your list this week. I hope that you go through it and that you share it with the people in your life. I hope that you check back for new episodes this week, especially the two-part on Martha Moxley. Behind the scenes, I'm working really hard to bring you some fantastic stories, like the last Saturday series episode about the televangelism couple. I'm always on the pursuit of really interesting personal stories and looking out for what is the most interesting in unscripted TV and the people to interview and bring these stories to you. And if you've watched something and you feel like there are a couple questions I wish somebody would have asked, I've got your back. I'm going to do it. So I hope that you take my episodes and you share them with the people in your life. Please tell people about what's going on over at Reality Life with Kate Casey. And thank you so much for the DMs that you send and also for the reviews that you leave on all podcast platforms. They are much, much, much appreciated. So make sure that you are subscribed to this podcast at Apple Podcast and wherever you listen to podcasts, but also to my What to Watch list at katecasey.substack.com. And check out the bonus episodes, which are super important on Apple Podcast and on Patreon at patreon.com/Kate Casey. And lastly, follow me on social media. I'm on Instagram at @KatecaseyCA, TikTok, it's Kate Casey, and Twitter, Threads, and Blue Sky at @Kate Casey. Check back tomorrow for an all-new episode.